Hello, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vijeta, and today we shall be continuing with the lecture series. Last time we discussed about Henry VI parts 3 and 2. Today we shall discuss about Henry VI part 1, and it was written in between 1590 to 92. Important characters are Sir John Falstaff, a coward English soldier, Henry VI, who is the king and he is 9 months old, Earl of Bedford, uncle of Henry VI and the regent, Earl of Gloucester, uncle of Henry VI and regent, Earl of Suffolk. He brings Margaret of Anjou to marry King Henry VI, Duke of Exeter, great uncle of Henry VI, Dauphin Charles, King of France, Lord Talbot, Constable of the English Army, Orleans, the place where the English have seized France, Joan La Pucelle, Joan of Arc, commander of the French army, Richard Plantagenet, Duke of York, Duke of Somerset. He was the one who fought the War of Roses with the Duke of York. Mortimer, uncle of Richard III, Rouen, French lose the city. Duke of Burgundy, he switches his side from English to French. Bordeaux, general of the French forces. So, yeah, the plot is that it is obviously the play is supposed to be written in 1591 and it is written in 5 acts. This is the first history play by Shakespeare. The play starts with the funeral of Henry V. While King Henry V died, his son Henry VI was only 9 months old. Because of the trouble in France, as England was losing one territory, Bedford was asked to take over the Hundred Years' War in France. Joan of Arc, a lady, is brought to Charles and she says she has seen visions and she can lead the troop of France. Sir Talbot, the troop head of the English forces, and Joan fight, and Joan leaves him on mercy, and the French won. The Countess of Auvergne calls Talbot to trap him but doesn't succeed. In London, the two group heads, Richard Plantagenet and Somerset, ask their followers to choose either the red rose or the white rose. Richard Plantagenet learns from his uncle Mortimer that he is supposed to be the next heir. King Henry VI grants the request of Richard and gives him the name Duke of York. Henry VI arrives in Paris to take over the control. Henry asks the York and Somerset to stop the civil war as he learned about the War of Roses. Henry picks Somerset's red rose, so the York is upset. Henry assigns the task of becoming the leader of the English troops, infantry, to York, while he asks Somerset to be in charge of the cavalry. When Talbot needed troops in France, York couldn't provide him that, the reason being that Somerset delayed the cavalry because of his dislike to York. The English thus lose the territories won by Henry V, and Talbot was killed. Son of Talbot, John also arrives and fight against the French, and he also dies, and thus England is defeated. In the next battle between Joan of Arc and the united forces of York and Somerset, York captures Joan as her patron demons refuse to advise her. So it is said that Joan was not able to use her intuitions. It seems Joan asks York not to kill her as she's a virgin, but they prepare to burn her. In the final scene, Henry VI marries Margaret of Anjou, a French girl who was captured in the battle. Famous quotes: "If all the years were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. I'm the Prince of Wales, and think not, Percy, to share with me in glory any more. Two stars keep not their motion in one sphere. Homo is a common name to all men. To time of life is short, to spend that shortness basely were too long." Richard III, it was probably presented in 1592 to 93, and that's more or less you need to know. If you wish to learn more about the play or read the play, you're always welcome to do so. I'm just giving you a brief overview of all the plays and the information that is important for NET. Now we come to the Comedy of Errors, written between 1589 to 94. It is the shortest play of Shakespeare and a farcical comedy. At that, Aegon, a merchant of Syracuse, is condemned to death in Ephesus for violating the ban against travel between the two cities. While execution, he tells Ephesian Duke Solinus that he has come here in search of his lost wife and twin sons, who were separated from him 25 years ago in a shipwreck. The Duke is moved after listening the story and he asks a ransom of £1,000 instead of executing him. So, to save his life, he asks him to give £1,000 as ransom. Antipholus of Syracuse is the lost son of Aegon who lives along with his slave Dromio. Dromio is also twin brothers and both are named as Dromio. Like Dromio has a twin brother and he is also named Dromio. Antipholus of Ephesus is the other twin of Aegon, who is a prosperous citizen of the city. Adriana, wife of Antipholus of Ephesus, mistakes Antipholus of Syracuse as her husband and drags him for dinner. When Antipholus of Ephesus reaches his home, he was refused entry in his own house by Dromio of Syracuse, who is guarding the gate. So yeah, that it all becomes a huge confusion. The confusion increases scene after scene. Adriana asks the Duke to intervene. The situation is finally resolved by the abbess, Amelia, who brings out the set of twins and reveals herself to be Aegon's wife. Aegon is pardoned by the Duke, and all the three pairs get united and happy. Abbess is the wife of Aegon. Her actual name is Amelia, but she is disguised as Abbess. Balthazar is a character who appears in 3 plays of Shakespeare, not novels. I think it's a mistake. 3 plays of Shakespeare: Merchant of Venice, Comedy of Errors, and Much Ado About Nothing. Although, incidentally or interestingly, he also appears in Romeo and Juliet as Benvolio's servant, manservant. Like Benvolio is the elder cousin of Romeo, and Balthazar is also present there. I mean, his manservant is known as Balthazar. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Famous quotes from Comedy of Errors. We came into the world like brother and brother, and now let's go hand in hand, not one before another. Until I know this sure uncertainty, I'll entertain the offered fallacy. If the skins were parchment and the blows you gave were ink, your own handwriting would tell you what I think. If she lives till doomsday, she'll burn a week longer than the whole world. Since mine own doors refuse to entertain me, I'll knock elsewhere to see if they'll disdain me. Train me not, sweet mermaid, with thy note to drown me in thy sister's flood of tears. Antipholus of Syracuse to Luciana. Spherical like a globe, I could find out countries in her. Antipholus of Syracuse about Nell. So these are some interesting quotes from the play. Now we come to Titus Andronicus, written between 1593 to 94, and one of the darkest plays of Shakespeare. The important characters are Titus Andronicus, who is a Roman general, Marcus Andronicus, brother of Titus Andronicus, Tamora, queen of Goth, Titus's enemy, Alarbus, Chiron, and Demetrius, sons of Tamora, Arundimo, secret lover of Tamora, Lavinia, daughter of Titus, Quintus, Maritus, and Mutius, Titus's sons, Saturninus, he married Tamora, he is an emperor, Bassianus, brother of Saturninus. Plot. It is one of the greatest tragedies by Shakespeare, and it's very dark also. Titus Andronicus, who is a Roman general, returns from 10 years of war with 4 sons out of his 25 sons. So you can see the play actually begins on a very terrible note. He has captured Tamora, queen of the Goths. Titus sacrifices Tamora's eldest son, Alarbus, in order to avenge the deaths of his own sons during the war. In obedience to Roman rituals, he sacrifices his son Mutius to his own dead sons, that earns him Tamora's unending hatred and her promise of revenge. Tamora is made empress by the new emperor Saturninus. She makes schemes with her lover Aaron to frame Titus's 2 sons for the murder of emperor's brother Bassianus. and Titus's sons are beheaded. Tamora urges her son Chiron to rape Lavinia, the daughter of Titus. Chiron and Demetrius, after doing the deed with Lavinia, cut her tongue and hands so that she doesn't tell the truth. Demetrius is the character in two of the plays of Shakespeare, Midsummer Night's Dream and Titus Andronicus, where he is Tamora's son. Titus's last surviving son, Lucius, is also banished from Rome. Lucius makes an alliance with enemy gods in order to attack Rome. Titus, who feigned madness, captures and kills Tamora's sons and makes spy out of them and feeds them to Tamora in the final scene, kind of like Arya Stark. It kind of reminds us of that. He also kills Tamora and Lavinia, his own daughter. Lucius buries Aaron alive and throws Tamora's corpse to the beasts. Quite drastic if you think about it. Finally, he becomes the new emperor of Rome. Famous quotes: "Vengeance is in my heart, death in my hand, blood and revenge are hammering in my head." So you can understand what a drastic play, what a drastic shift it was. So yeah, that's the range of Shakespeare. One can say that's the range of Shakespeare. He can be comical and then he can be this serious, this deranged, I can say. Yeah, anyways, now we come to another play of Shakespeare, The Taming of the Shrew, written in 1590 to 92. It was written and performed between 1590 to 92 as a comedy. Now we have a comedy in our hands. The play starts in the English countryside where one character is named Christopher Sly, who is trapped by a local lord. Sly is a drunkard, basically. One man of the lord is disguised as a woman and marries Sly. The lord and his men declare Sly as a lord and treat him accordingly. A troupe of actors arrive to present a play to Sly. In the Italian city of Padua, Lucentio, Latin teacher of Bianca, arrives with his friends Trainio and Biondello to attend the university, and he instantly falls in love with Bianca. Hortensio is, however, the first suitor of Bianca. Baptista Minda, father of Bianca, has declared that Bianca will be married after the marriage of her elder sister Catherine. A younger man from Verona arrives and takes the hand of the shrew Catherine to accept all his proposals. At last, Lucentio is wedded to Bianca and Hortensio is wedded to a widow. At the end of the play, the three husbands stage a contest to see which of their wives will obey first when summoned. Catherine and Petruchio win the contest. Important quotes from The Taming of the Shrew: "My tongue will tell the anger of my heart, or else, my heart concealing, it will break. Sit by my side and let the word slip. We shall never be younger. There's a small choice in rotten apples. The poorest service is repaid with thanks. No profit grows where no pleasure is taken. If she and I be pleased, what's that to you?" So yeah, that they are quite sweet, cute, witty remarks. Now we come to another play, and The Two Gentlemen of Verona, written between 1589 to 92. It is a comedy by Shakespeare, and it is believed to have been written in 1589 to 92. It is set in Verona and Milan. Some scholars have considered it as the first play of Shakespeare. The play deals with the themes of friendship and infidelity, the conflict between friendship and the foolish behavior of people in love. And a dog appears in the play named Crab. Must have seen it in Shakespeare in Love, the importance of dogs. Main characters: Valentine, a young man living in Verona; Proteus, close friend of Valentine; Sylvia, she falls in love with Proteus in Milan; Julia, she falls in love with Proteus in Verona. And actually, it's kind of this thing that you will understand what happens. Antonio, Proteus's father; Crab, Launce's dog; Launce, Proteus's servant. The plot of the display is that two close friends living in Verona, Valentine and Proteus, take leave of each other. Valentine is setting out on his travels on his own because Proteus will not leave his beloved Julia and has decided to stay in Verona. Julia is interested in Proteus's attention and treasures the love letter he has sent her, but feigns a mild rather than a passionate interest. So, yeah, Julia is kind of playing it very, like playing it cool, if I may use a contemporary remark. Proteus's father, Antonio, sends him on a mission to Milan. When he arrives at the Duke of Milan's court, he finds that Valentine is there and he has fallen in love with Silvia, the Duke's daughter. Silvia also returns his love. Proteus, who has sworn love and fidelity to Julia, also falls in love with Silvia at the first sight. In the meantime, the Duke is planning the marriage of Silvia to the foolish Thurio. Now, Valentine plans to elope with Silvia, but Proteus is jealous, so he tells the Duke of the plot, and Valentine is caught carrying a rope ladder to Silvia's window, the oldest trick in the book. The Duke banishes Valentine, and Proteus woos Silvia with songs and declarations of his love. She scorns him, obviously, and she reminds him about Julia. Now, Julia arrives in Milan. She's disguised as a page boy named Sebastian. Proteus sends her as a page boy with the ring that Julia had given him before. Silvia has promised him a picture of herself, although she's still devoted to the absent Valentine. In the meantime, Valentine has been captured by a band of aristocratic outlaws who make him their chief. So Valentine is having his own adventures. Silvia persuades her courtier, Sir Eglamour, to accompany her to Mantua to find Valentine, and she is also captured by the outlaws. The Duke and Thurio go after her, taking Proteus with them. Julia, still disguised, follows him. Proteus rescues Silvia. He tries to force himself on her, but Valentine prevents him. They quarrel and they are reconciled. All this is heard by Julia, and misunderstanding, she thinks that now Valentine is yielding his interest in Silvia. So she faints in front of them. Proteus obviously recognizes the ring he had given her, and when her identity is revealed, obviously his love is revived. So, yeah, these characters. The outlaws have captured the Duke and Thurio. They trick Thurio into showing his cowardice by denying Silvia. The Duke approves the marriage of Silvia and Valentine. The two couples agree to share a wedding day, and the Duke pardons the outlaws. So, this is one of those plays where one can say that Shakespeare has made characters very fickle, and sometimes scholars might say that Shakespeare doesn't take himself too seriously. Maybe they were talking about these kind of plays, and it shows a dimension of Shakespeare, to be honest. He can write these fickle characters, and then he can write intense characters. So that is something. Anyways, the famous quotes from the two gentlemen of Verona: "That man that hath a tongue, I say, is no man, if with his tongue he cannot wit a woman." What? Gone without a word? Aye, so true love should do. It cannot speak for truth, hath better deeds than words to grace it. So, yeah. Anyways, these were the plays that we shall be discussing today. And tomorrow we shall start with Love's Labours Lost. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Comments and suggestions are welcome. And subscribe to my channel for more. And I will meet you all with the next video. Thank you.